Welcome to Fan for Racing Radio. I'm Fan for Racing Sharon, and joining me is Jay Hughesman. We are here to preview the Talladega race for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. So it's always a wild ride at Talladega, Jay.
It certainly is, and you mix in the fact that the Xfinity Series this year has seemed to be the little bit wilder bunch of the group. Add in the wild card at Talladega, I think we're in for a entertaining weekend of racing.
I believe you are correct on that. Okay, their next race is the Ag Pro 300 at Talladega. It is a 2.66 mile asphalt oval. They'll race Saturday, April the 26th at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. And on the CW network, they'll have pre-race coverage starting at 3 p.m. Eastern and radio coverage on MRN and SiriusXM Channel 90. They'll race a distance of 300.58 miles over 113 laps. Stage 1 and 2 are 25 laps each. Stage 1, of course, ends on lap 25. Stage 2 on lap 50. And then the final stage will be 63 laps, ending on lap 113. Now, you will be able to see the Kennemental pole qualifying on the CW app this Saturday. I'm sorry, on Friday, April the 25th, they'll have their Kennemental pole qualifying at 5:30 p.m. on the CW app. And then on Saturday, the ARCA race we previewed earlier will take place at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time on Fox Sports 1, MRN, and SiriusXM. But after that, the Xfinity Series race, as we mentioned earlier, will start at 4 p.m. Eastern Time with the Cup Series race on Sunday. And we'll give you details on that coming up soon. So have you been checking out the entry list, Jay?
I most certainly have, and pole qualifying going to be important, not just for starting position, but whether or not you race, because there are 41 drivers and teams on the entry list for the AG Pro 300 Xfinity Series race. So that means 3 cars are going to miss the race. Some notable entries aside from your normal entries. The 07 is going to be Patrick Emmerling. The number 19, we have the return of Eric Almirola. The number 24 is Jeffrey Earnhardt. We got an Earnhardt in at Talladega. The number 29 talked about Jake Garcia getting a lot of seat time this weekend. Number 32 will be Catherine Legg. The number 35 is Greg Van Alst. And the number 45, I believe, his first start of the year is going to be Cesar Barcerella. The number 53 is listed as Joey Gase. The number 66, Mason Maggio. The number 87, Austin Green. And in the number 91, I can't remember the last time we saw him, Jesse Iwuji.
Oh, yeah, it's been a while since we've seen Jesse. Qualifying will be 1 lap, 2 rounds. The fastest 10 cars in the first round will advance to the final round. Starting positions 1, 2 through 10 will be based on finish in the final round, and the remainder of the field will start based on qualifying results in the first round. So that includes Talladega as far as the procedure that they use for super speedways. We do want to go ahead and get into the storylines and insights, Jay.
This Saturday's event will mark the 38th NASCAR Xfinity Series race at Talladega Superspeedway all time. They've raced every season there since 1992.
Okay, now keep in mind they're going to come back to Talladega for the playoffs. It is scheduled as the middle race in the round of 8 in the playoffs. So this will be a good experience for the drivers that make it into the playoffs and to learn for that playoff race.
It most certainly does. One of the things to look at is the manufacturers. We've talked about this a lot, but Chevrolet has won the last 11 Xfinity Series races at Talladega Superspeedway, which is the second longest streak of wins by a make at a track behind the 16 that Chevrolet did at Bristol from 1997 to 2005.
One driver you want to keep your eye on is Jake Garcia. He's attempting to make his NASCAR Xfinity Series debut this Saturday. Jeffrey Earnhardt and Jesse Awuji will be making their first starts of the season. Catherine Legg is also making her first Xfinity Series Superspeedway start.
And a total of 11 drivers on the entry list have never made an Xfinity Series start at Talladega. Yeah, yeah. Ooh is right. Ooh.
Yeah, so that's something to keep your eye on this weekend as well. The last 6 NASCAR Xfinity Series Talladega Superspeedway races were won by 6 different drivers. So we'll see if there's a 7th different winner this weekend.
A lot of factors go into that. Another cool stat is about half of the times, 5 of the last 11 Xfinity Series Talladega winners earned their first career series win. Jesse Love did it in 2024, Brandon Brown in 2021, Jeb Burton also in 2021. In 2020, it was Justin Haley. Talked about Spencer Gallagher. That was his first career win back in 2018.
Well, speaking of Jeb Burton, he is the only active driver with multiple Xfinity Series Talladega wins. He won in April of 21 and again in April of 24. So might be one of the drivers to watch.
And this one kind of surprises me, but Burton's 2 Talladega wins are 1 win away from tying Martin Truex Jr. for the most wins there in the Xfinity Series. So the record is at 3.
Wow. Now, 4 active drivers have won at Talladega. We mentioned Jeb Burton and his 2 wins. Eric Almirola, Jesse Love, and Sammy Smith each have 1 win.
Now, we talked about pole qualifying. That favors Richard Childress Racing as they've won the last 5 Xfinity Series poles in a row at Talladega Superspeedway for RCR.
Okay, another thing to keep an eye on, 2 of the last 4 Xfinity Series Talladega races had a last lap pass for that win.
We mentioned this a lot when it was at Daytona because it's super speedway racing or drafting tracks. RCR, Richard Childress Racing, has won 10 of the last 19 drafting tracks. And that's since the start of the 2022 season. And that includes both of them so far this year.
All right. Also, RCR led 1,152 laps in the last 19 drafting track races. No other team led more than 399. So they are clearly out front when it comes to laps led.
And we're not done talking about them as an organization. And then we're going to get into driver specific. But RCR has won 10 of the last 12 drafting track poles after qualifying was completed.
Okay, well, 8 of Austin Hill's 12 career wins have come at drafting packs. So I think he probably tops the list of drivers to keep your eye on this weekend.
He certainly does, as those 8 career drafting track wins have him tied at the top for most all-time wins with Dale Earnhardt and Tony Stewart.
2 of the best. Austin Hill's 734 laps led on drafting tracks are the most all time.
Now, we made him seem unbeatable. However, Austin Hill has never finished better than 14th at Talladega. It's one of his 3 active tracks without a top 10 finish. That includes Talladega and then Iowa and Watkins Glen.
That's kind of surprising. Austin Hill's 189 laps led at Talladega without a win leads all drivers. Justin Allgaier ranks 2nd in laps led there without a win at 120.
And lastly, Austin Hill won the last 5 stages on drafting tracks, as that includes both at Atlanta, where he went on to win the race. Now we're back to making him look invincible.
Okay, now Ford's last win on a drafting track came in February of 21 when Austin Cindric won at Daytona. So it's been a while for them to visit victory lane on a drafting track.
Well, here's another interesting note. RCR has team car there. His teammate to Austin Hill is Jesse Love. His 2 career wins came on drafting tracks, Talladega in April of 24 and then February of this year.
2 of the last 3 Xfinity Series drafting track races have ended with a last lap pass for the win.
And 12 of the last 18 Xfinity races on this drafting track have gone into overtime as well. So that's something to look forward to, possibly.
The final green flag stretch was 3 laps or less in 10 of the last 11 Talladega races. So I would expect that.
And this includes some bad news, good news, bad news. Sammy Smith has been officially declared the winner from Rockingham after Jesse Love was disqualified for a rear suspension violation. And that hearing was held this week. It was upheld. I don't believe there's going to be a final appeal. I hadn't heard anything on a final appeal.
Okay. We'll keep an eye on that, but it doesn't sound like it. Also, Nick Sanchez and Dean Thompson each won their first career stage at Rockingham last weekend.
Justin Allgaier is the one that leads all drivers with 7 top 5s and 7 top 10 finishes here in 2025. That'll be reflected in the point standings.
Yes, it will. Okay, now 6 of 12 playoff spots are filled after the 10 races for just the second time since the inception of the playoffs in 2016. So we already have 6 drivers that have those 12 spots. That's pretty amazing.
And we talked about this on the review show coming out of Rockingham. The first 5 drivers below the playoff cut line here in the Xfinity Series are all rookies. They're in a pack. The rookies are running in a pack.
They are, but I think any one of those rookies could come up with a win.
Most
Okay,
certainly.
Joe Gibbs Racing is just 1 pole away from 200. They're the only team with 100 poles.
Another one looking to set a milestone is Junior Motorsports, as they are 8 wins away from 100. And only 3 teams have won at least 100 NASCAR Xfinity Series races. Joe Gibbs Racing at over 200. They're at 217. Roush Fenway Keselowski Racing at 138. And then Richard Childress Racing just recently hit the 100 mark.
All right. Now, Kyle Larson leads all drivers in laps led in 25 with 408, despite making only 2 Xfinity Series starts this season.
And that's what you call domination, no doubt.
I would say
Now,
so.
4 races this year already have ended with the last lap pass, and 5 of the 10 Xfinity Series races this season have gone to overtime. And Talladega, I would have to add to both of those if I had to guess.
Yes, indeed. Now, 3 crew chiefs got their first Xfinity Series win in 2025. We're talking about Adam Wall at Bristol, Sam McCauley at Darlington, and Chad Haney at Atlanta.
Congrats to those 3 crew chiefs on their first. Now, Alpha Prime had a good weekend at Rockingham. They had 2 drivers finish inside the top 5 at Rockingham, and that's the first time in team history. You got to love that.
Mm-hmm. Also, Alpha Prime had 3 top 5 finishes in the last 4 races. The team only had 2 career top 5s entering the 2025 season.
Love seeing that, a team on the rise, and hopefully they can continue that momentum. I know Talladega kind of uncontrolled, some things out of their control, any race teams, but hopefully they can continue to build on that momentum.
I hope so as well. I will say ARCA East, we should have saw this on the ARCA East thing. ARCA East at Rockingham also set viewership records on both the NASCAR channel and Flow Racing. How about that?
That's awesome. We talked about that again, being partnered up on a Cup Series weekend, return to the Rock. A lot of things worked in their favor. We saw a good field of cars, so that is great for them.
It is indeed. For the Xfinity Series, expect flat out and fearless. Talladega promises another Xfinity Series thriller. Again, the Xfinity Series was returning to the high banks of Talladega Superspeedway. And it's a huge track for a lot of drivers. And we mentioned a few that are racing for the first time there. So it has all the trappings for another headline-making show this weekend, Jay.
It is, and some of these, looking through them, are kind of highlights of what we've already covered, but we covered a lot, so we'll hit these high points. The last 6 Talladega Xfinity Series races have been won by 6 different drivers, and Sharon just mentioned 11 entered this weekend have never competed at this track in this series.
Okay, Richard Childress Racing's Jesse Love scored his first career Xfinity Series victory at Talladega last year. He held off Riley Herbst and Anthony Alfredo by 0.141 thousandths of a second. Love led a race best of 28 laps, the first time the race winner has led the most laps at Talladega since Tyler Reddick's work in April of 2019. So that was a big win for Jesse Love.
And a couple of noteworthy streaks. The one was Chevrolet having won the last 11 Xfinity Series races at Talladega, and Richard Childress Racing won the last 6 poles. So we'll see if streaks continue or if somebody manages to break them.
Okay, Richard Childress Racing, also known as RCR, simply has a dominating record at the big circuits, winning 10 of the last 19 races at drafting tracks since 2022. Including 2 races this season already. The team led 1,152 laps in the last 19 drafting track races, nearly 4 times that of any other team. So we're telling you the same thing, but with a few little added tidbits there.
And another highlight there of part of RCR is 8 of driver Austin Hill's 10 career wins on the drafting style tracks. Talladega, Daytona, and now Atlanta. Hill and Love have led the most laps in their victories. Love at Daytona and Hill in Atlanta already this season. Hill's 734 total laps led on the drafting tracks is a series record.
Now, should he win Saturday, the 31-year-old Georgia native, Austin Hill, would become the winningest driver on this style of track, a 9th win, breaking the all-time mark he shares with a pair of NASCAR Hall of Famers, including the late Dale Earnhardt and Tony Stewart, 2 of the best, and Austin Hill is knocking on that door.
And right now, reigning NASCAR Xfinity Series champion, Junior Motorsports' Justin Allgaier, has taken a commanding 87-point lead over Haas factory team Sam Marion this weekend. We saw the stats on Chevrolet versus Ford. Best American hope for. I mean, a win, would be good, but to try and maintain that, maybe move on to the next weekend.
Yeah. There are 4 former Talladega race winners in Saturday's field. Sammy Smith, Jesse Love, and Jeb Burton, and Eric Almirola.
Go ahead.
Okay, Burton, the driver of the number 27 Jordan Anderson Chevrolet, is the only multi-time Talladega winner among the current series full-timers. He won in 21 and again in 23. This is another odd year. Maybe this is his year to do it again, Jay.
Could be, but another note for Sammy Smith is he's looking to become the first driver since Justin Haley in 2020 to win back-to-back Talladega races. Now, his would be split amongst different years, whereas 2020 was a season sweep for Justin Haley.
There you go. Now qualifying for the race will be Friday at 5:30 p.m. Eastern. You can watch that on the CW app. Hill won the pole position for this race last year. So we'll see if he can sit on the pole again for the race this year.
Well, I know you're going to ask me, and all I can say at this point is if I were a betting man, I'd have to go with Chevrolet. Picking one of them, I think last time we did this, you let me pick first, and I picked one of the RCR, and you took the other. Jesse Love, the fact that they had the DQ last weekend, come back with a vengeance. We know They got good super speedway or drafting style track speed, so avoid the bad luck. And that's true for anybody, but I wouldn't bet against anybody, honestly.
Honestly, you can't. But since you took Jesse, I'll take Austin. Oh, no, I'm going to take Jeb Burton. Why not? I'll take Jeb Burton on this one. Maybe he'll come up with another victory in another odd year. He had 21 and 23. It's 25 this year. So I'll take Jeb Burton in a Chevrolet.
And that's certainly one you can't count out. They got some statistics to back up their success at Talladega. Certainly should be in contention, I would think, unless they're having an off week. And I wouldn't even call him a dark horse because, again, that is where his 2 victories have come. The one I would say maybe a little bit of a dark horse, we talked about their progression, would be Alpha Prime. However, they're Ford. That's my only concern with that. But to see Harrison Burton take Alpha Prime into a win or top 5 and continue that, because Ford has struggled there.
So we'll see what happens. You never know. At Talladega, anything and everything will happen.
That's right.
Okay, well, watch for more coming soon. We did the Arkham and Art Series East preview a few minutes ago. Now we're doing Xfinity. One more to come for the preview shows, and that is for the NASCAR Cup Series. They'll be racing on Sunday, and we're doing that next. So, and then, of course, on Monday, we will do all of the reviews for all of these races, as well as our Hot Topic Sound Off conversation with Chris Crichton, Jay, and myself. And we'll cover all the hot topics from the weekend of racing, as well as, I don't think we missed too many from last week. Did we? We touched on most of them, right?
Yeah, I think we got a lot of them in, and I'll tell you what, be excited to hear from Chris. Hopefully he's able to attend, as it would be a first-hand opinion of the Talladega weekend.
Right. He's going to be there this weekend, so that should be fun to hear from him. Our Hot Topic Sound Off live stream starts at 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central, and 7 o'clock Pacific time. So we hope you'll join us for our Hot Topic Sound Off conversation. And then, of course, we do want to say thank you for watching. We do appreciate each person who tunes in to hear what we have to say. And we will look forward to catching you on the next video as well.
All right, we'll talk Cup Series in just a few.
Take care, everybody.